Warriors. This game is absolutely fucking amazing. Its story is just insane. This game is, in my opinion, the only licensed movie game that is actually better than the movie itself. And that's not to say that the movie is any bad. The whole reason we got a game in the first place was because of the movie. It gained cult status in the early 2000s with some of my favorite shows referencing the movie. Here are some of the examples that I know of.
I only have a pennies.
1, 2.
Who do you think fixed
Mordecai, put your phone away. Mordecai, put your phone away. Mordecai, put your phone away.
When I first played the game, I was shocked by how good it looks for a PS2 and PSP title. I mean, of course, it's gonna have its weird textures and models, but it is breathtaking. Its dark and dirty atmosphere coupled with a dark soundtrack just mimics the feel of the 1979 movie perfectly. Now, like always, I'm not going to talk about what the story is about. Here you can watch these, or the actual movie if you want. I'm going to talk about what I absolutely liked and loved about this game, this amazing game. Naturally, the gameplay. When we are first introduced to the game, we are immediately thrown into the tutorial with one of the many protagonists in the game, Rembrandt, as he tries to earn his spot in the Warriors. First thing I notice about it is that it reminds me a lot of two games that Rockstar had made. It feels like a mixture of Bully's fighting mechanics and Manhunt's atmosphere and feeling. Like in Bully, there are combos and each character has their own combos. There's also a lot of weapons to choose from. There's also a rage mode, which when activated your character becomes more powerful and dishes out more damage. I do find the running in this game a bit uncontrollable as every character runs as fast as Tommy Vercetti, but not that fast. I mean, Tommy would absolutely mince Usain Bolt in a race if he had to. Anyways, when your character takes a lot of damage, you can buy Flash, which is a kind of drug that restores health in-game. There are dealers scattered around the map in which you can buy it from them. Or you could beat the shit out of one of the many gang members in this game who may carry Flash with them. The game is sort of an open world, but only like a small city block in which you can roam freely. The rest of the city is only accessible through the many missions that the game has, which itself is also only a small section or a closed city block. You can do a variety of things like break into stores and steal things to get money, to buy more flash or spray paint, steal car radios, which when you break the windows of a car, a little mini game plays where you have to turn the analog stick to unscrew the radio, which reminds me a lot of the mini game to start the cars in GTA Chinatown was. You can also mug people for cash. Whichever character you're given to use, you can control or request the crew that's with you to help you watch your back or even cause mayhem, which allows your crew to go wild. One thing I hated about this game was the tagging minigames. They can sometimes be tedious and annoying. Like when you're given the minigame to paint, you have to follow the lines of this shape with your left analog stick. But when you go out of the line just a bit, the painting will stop for a few seconds and more than half of your spray can is finished, which then forces you to stop and use another can. And if you don't have one, you have to go running around looking for a person that sells cans. It's so fucking annoying. But if you think that that's just one problem, there is a whole mission where you have to compete with other gangs to paint your crew's emblem. It's unreasonably difficult, in my opinion, at least. But I won't let one thing define my experience with the game. After you finish the first few missions, you are introduced to the game's hub or gang hideout, where you can view your stats, collectibles, do exercise minigames, and on the PSP there is also this little arcade machine which when interacted with starts the side-scrolling beat-em-up minigame called the Armies of the Night. It reminds me a lot of Tekken 3's Tekken Force mode. Now, the story. I know I said I wasn't going to talk about the game's story, but I just wanted to tell you what it is and not what it's about, if you get what I mean. The game's story is a one-to-one recreation of the entire film converted into a grand interactive experience, with some missions added for the game itself. But not only that, but it is also a prequel to the events that occur in the movie. There are also some bonus missions that explain how certain characters became part of the Warriors. Like I said, I'm not going to spoil the story. Now it's time for my favorite actors. Almost all of the actors from the movie had returned to voice their respective characters in the game, but the most popular, in my opinion, was James Remar as Ajax. I don't know much about the actor, but to me he's most popularly known for his appearances in Django Unchained, Dexter as Harry Morgan, and in Too Fast, Too Furious.
Hey, that's mine. So?
Now it's that time of the video where I talk about what I love to mention whenever talking about video games. The music. Like it, Bully, this game only has a handful of licensed songs. Some of my favorite songs were Nowhere to Run by Arnold McCullough, In the City by Joe Walsh, Here Comes That Sound Again by Love Deluxe. But that's not all. This game contains the original score from the movie as well. There are some original scores that Rockstar had made for the game as well, and here are some of my favorites. These songs are just so dark and cool to listen to, and it fits everything perfectly. I mean, play the game for yourself, god damn it. This game is one of my favorite games ever, and its translation of the movie to video games was done so perfectly. I recently watched the movie in 2022 and I'm glad I did. It was fun and intriguing, but I do have a gripe with it, and it's these comic style transitions between scenes. It's a bit distracting, and I never got an answer from Letterboxd asking if there was a version of the movie without the comic book transitions. So I'm gonna ask again, is there a version of this movie that does not have these comic book transitions? Let me know in the comments, because if I wanted to watch a movie that had comic book transitions, I would watch the 2003 Hulk movie with Eric Bana. Anyway, I suggest you play the game and watch the movie. They're brilliant pieces of media and provide an almost complete story. There's also a small sequel that was made into a comic, not to mention that the entire movie was also turned into a comic book as well. There's also this novel, which the movie is based on. I heard the movie is nothing like the novel, and is a much more brutal story. I never read it, but you can give it a try if you want. Also heard there was a cancelled sequel based in England, and totally diverging from the movie and being a completely original story. Anyway, that was a fun experience. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your time. Things are gonna change around here. I'll make a follow-up video on that soon. Till we meet again.